In the heart of Toronto, a man named Arthur Penhaligon sparked a nationwide movement with nothing but a microphone and the courage to open his garage door to the world. What began as a simple act would soon ripple across the country, touching countless lives. This is Arthur's story, a quiet revolution born not from noise but from heartbreak and the longing for connection. Before he became the face of a national phenomenon, Arthur was simply a man lost in the overwhelming silence of his own home, struggling to find meaning after loss. His journey began not with a bang, but with a profound, deafening silence, the kind that settles in after the end of a 50-year love story, when the world seems to stop turning. The house on Maple Crescent, once alive with warmth and laughter, had never felt so empty or so cold. For nearly 5 decades, it was filled with the laughter and gentle presence of his beloved wife, Elena, whose spirit seemed to light up every corner. Now her scent lingered in the air, her favorite teacup sat untouched on the table, and her voice was only a fading memory echoing in his mind. Arthur wandered the rooms, his footsteps echoing in the quiet, each step a reminder of the emptiness that had settled in. The silence was suffocating, a heavy, invisible weight pressing down, a void where joy and laughter used to live. Every morning, he'd wake and, for a fleeting moment, forget his loss, only to be struck again by the reality that she was gone. The routines they built together, morning coffee, shared meals, quiet evenings, now felt hollow, stripped of meaning. Neighbors offered kindness, bringing food and comfort, but nothing could truly penetrate the walls of his grief or fill the emptiness inside. Arthur was adrift, lost in a museum of memories, surrounded by reminders of a life that once was. The silence was more than just the absence of sound. It was the absence of her, the absence of love, laughter, and the life they had built together. One rainy Tuesday, as the world outside blurred behind streaks of water on the glass, Arthur sat quietly in his small Canadian home, lost in thought. He stumbled upon a photograph of Elena as a young woman, radiant and full of life, standing on a sunlit beach in Cebu, her laughter frozen in time. He'd heard her stories of the Philippines countless times, but seeing her youthful smile in that old photo stirred something deep within him, a longing he hadn't realized was there. Arthur realized that while he knew the woman he'd loved in Canada, he had never truly known the girl from the photograph, the one shaped by distant shores and sunlit days. They'd always dreamed of visiting her homeland together, making plans that were always postponed as the years slipped by and life's demands took over. Now, staring at her face, he felt a new sense of purpose awaken within him, a determination that pushed aside his doubts. He wanted to see the place that shaped her, to walk the same beaches, to understand the spirit that had drawn him to her all those years ago. The idea was daunting. He was old, alone, and didn't speak the language. The thought of traveling so far from home filled him with uncertainty. But the image of Elena's smile, glowing softly in the photograph, beckoned him forward, giving him courage. It felt like a promise he needed to keep, a journey he owed to both her memory and himself. With resolve, Arthur booked a flight to Cebu, carefully packing the precious photograph in his suitcase, his heart pounding with anticipation and fear. As he closed his front door behind him, he left behind the comfort of familiar grief, stepping into the unknown with hope and trembling hands. He didn't know what he'd find in the Philippines, only that he had to go, driven by love and the need for understanding. He was going to find her song, and perhaps, in doing so, find a new piece of himself. Stepping off the plane in Cebu, Arthur was hit by a wall of warmth, color, and sound. The Reyes family, his hosts, welcomed him like family, offering food and smiles without questions. Guided by Mateo, Arthur explored ancient churches, bustling markets, and the beaches from Elena's stories. Everywhere, he was met with kindness and music, sung in homes, on streets, in every corner. The loneliness that haunted him in Canada began to fade. Here, music was life itself, a heartbeat connecting everyone. Arthur finally understood why Elena always hummed at home. In Cebu, music wasn't performance, it was breathing. He was in the land that composed his wife's soul. Saturday night brought karaoke to the Reyes courtyard. A ritual, not just a party. Neighbors arrived with food, children and grandparents took turns singing. There was no judgment, only joy in sharing music. Arthur watched, awed by the courage and connection in every song. When Mateo offered him the microphone, Arthur declined, fear and grief holding him back. Lola reassured him, "It's not about the voice, it's about the heart." He listened as stories and emotions poured out through song. The music connected everyone, washing over Arthur and gently easing his sorrow. He felt included, even as a silent observer. For the first time, he witnessed the healing power of a shared song. The magic Elena had described was real. Arthur was no longer just watching, he was beginning to heal. The silence inside him started to crack. Week after week, Arthur attended karaoke nights, never singing, but always present. The Reyes family accepted his silence, offering food, laughter, and gentle company. Slowly, the weight of grief began to lift. Arthur found himself humming tunes during the day, smiling at small joys. The world seemed brighter, music filling the empty spaces in his heart. He shared stories of Elena with Lola, finding comfort in memory instead of pain. "She is with you, Arthur," Lola would say. "Her song is in your heart." One afternoon, Arthur caught himself singing softly while working with Mateo. Mateo smiled. "You have a good voice, Tito Arthur." In that moment, Arthur realized singing wasn't about perfection, it was about connection. The fear that kept his voice locked away began to dissolve. Music was helping him find his way back to life. He was ready to let the music inside him come out. On his last Saturday in Cebu, the Reyes family held a farewell feast. Arthur felt immense gratitude for the community that had saved him. As the night wore on, he knew he had to give something back. With trembling hands, he took the microphone. He chose "Can't Help Falling in Love," his and Elena's song. His voice was shaky at first, thick with emotion, but he kept singing. Each lyric was a tribute to their life together, a release of grief and a celebration of love. Tears streamed down his face, but he didn't stop. When he finished, the courtyard was silent, then erupted in heartfelt applause. Lola hugged him. "That was for Elena. She heard you." In that moment, Arthur felt healed. The song hadn't erased his sorrow, but transformed it into a beautiful, bittersweet melody. He was no longer weighed down by grief. He was ready to carry Elena's song forward. The music had set him free. Back in Canada, the silence of Arthur's house felt different, no longer oppressive, but peaceful. He placed Elena's photograph on the mantle, beside their wedding picture. He knew he couldn't let the music die. Arthur bought a karaoke machine and set it up in his garage, transforming the space. That Saturday, he rolled up the garage door, set out chairs, and turned on the machine. He chose an upbeat song and began to sing, his voice breaking the evening stillness. Neighbors peeked from windows, curious and surprised. Some watched from their porches, others paused on the sidewalk. Arthur smiled and kept singing, inviting everyone to join. The silence was over. The music was here. The garage door and his heart were wide open. A new story was beginning. At first, neighbors watched from a distance, unsure of this new Saturday ritual. Some peered through their curtains, while others lingered on their porches, curious but hesitant to join in. But Arthur's joy was infectious. His laughter and enthusiasm echoed down the street, drawing attention and sparking interest. Mrs. Gable, a retired teacher, was the first to join, singing "Stand By Me." Her voice, though a little shaky at first, soon grew strong and confident as the music played. Soon, more neighbors drifted over. Families, teenagers, even the reserved Mr. Henderson, who usually kept to himself, found himself drawn to the gathering. Laughter and applause filled the driveway, echoing into the night and making everyone feel welcome. Week after week, the garage became the neighborhood's gathering place. It was transformed with string lights, folding chairs, and the promise of good company. People brought snacks, shared songs, and learned about each other's lives. Stories were exchanged over homemade dishes, and new friendships began to form. The karaoke machine became a catalyst for connection, turning strangers into friends and neighbors into a community. Generations sang together, friendships blossomed, and the community grew closer with every shared melody and chorus. Mr. Henderson revealed a love for Johnny Cash. His deep voice surprised everyone and brought cheers from the crowd. Mrs. Gable discovered a talent for harmonies, blending her voice with others and inspiring more neighbors to join in. Arthur watched with joy as his street transformed before his eyes, feeling a sense of pride and belonging he'd never known before. He had brought back more than a souvenir. He'd brought a tradition that built community, one song at a time, creating memories that would last for years. The music broke down walls and opened hearts, helping neighbors connect in ways they never expected. Maple Crescent was no longer just a street. It was a family, united by laughter, music, and shared moments. All because one man opened his door and shared a song, changing his neighborhood forever. News of Arthur's Garage karaoke spread, a local article, then a citywide TV segment. Soon, people across Toronto started their own karaoke nights. Community centers and libraries joined in. The movement was dubbed the Karaoke Revolution. From Toronto, it spread nationwide. Vancouver, Montreal, Halifax. Social media buzzed with videos of neighbors singing together, all inspired by Arthur's open garage. Arthur became an accidental celebrity, receiving letters from across Canada. People shared how karaoke helped them combat loneliness and build community. A year later, Arthur returned to Cebu, welcomed his family. He showed the Reyes family videos of Canadians singing together. Lola's eyes filled with tears. "You showed them the Filipino heart, Arthur." Arthur smiled, knowing music had turned strangers into family and a silent house into a home for the world. The revolution had begun with a single open door.